The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge won't know whether they are having a boy or a girl until the baby is delivered. It was revealed today. During routine scans, William and Kate did not ask if they would be welcoming a son or daughter, opting to be surprised, as with the Duchess's previous pregnancies. Parking has now been suspended outside the hospital where Kate, 36, is expected to give birth at some point over the next 3 weeks as anticipation builds. When Kate goes into labor, she will be cared for in the private Lindo wing of St Mary's Hospital in London, where Prince George and Princess Charlotte were born. She is likely to have a team of more than 20 medical experts and other staff working or on standby from Imperial College Healthcare NHS Trust, which runs St Mary's. Consultant obstetrician Guy Thorpe-Beeston and consultant gynecologist Alan Farthing will be again involved after helping to deliver Kate's previous children. Mr. Farthing, the Queen's surgeon gynecologist, was engaged to BBC presenter Jill Dando when she was shot dead in April 1999. He was a pioneer in keyhole surgery and today specializes in using the technique to treat gynecological cancer patients. Mr. Thorpe-Beeston, surgeon gynecologist to the royal household, delivered Charlotte in 2015. Kate's baby is expected in April, and, although a due date has not been released, it is thought the infant will be born in the second half of the month. Preparations for the media coverage of the birth begin in earnest today, with crowd barriers going up in the street opposite the Lindo wing and parking restrictions coming into force in the area. Bookies believe Kate will have a girl, and a large number of punters have placed bets on the baby being named Mary, the favorite with firms like William Hill and Coral. Once news of the birth has been announced on the official Kensington Palace Twitter and Instagram accounts, a bulletin notice declaring the birth will go on display on an easel in the forecourt of Buckingham Palace. Kate is likely to take an extended period off to recover and nurse the latest addition to her family, but is expected to attend Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's wedding on May 19. As a mother of 3 children under the age of 4, the Duchess's role as a parent is likely to be her focus for the next few years, providing a loving and stable home for her family. The new royal baby will be born 5th in line to the throne. Once the prince or princess arrives, Prince Harry will shift down the line of succession to 6th place. The Duke of York will move to 7th, and Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie to 8th and 9th. Prince George and Princess Charlotte's younger sibling will be the Queen's 6th great-grandchild, and also a great-great-great-great-great-grandchild of Queen Victoria. It was always thought that the Duke and Duchess would go on to have 3 children. Kate is one of 3 and had a happy home life with her sister, Pippa Matthews, and brother, James Middleton, and is close to both of her siblings. but William may need to adjust to caring for a newborn once again. Kate joked in the months leading up to her due date that her husband was in denial about having a third. By having more than 2 children, William and Kate are following in the footsteps of the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh, who went on to have 4 children, although there was a gap of 10 years between their second child, Anne, and third, Andrew. As a sibling to both future King George and spare to the heir Charlotte, the new baby is unlikely ever to be crowned sovereign. The Duke of York is the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh's third child, but when Andrew was born in 1960 he leapfrogged his older sister, Princess Anne, in the line of succession. If the Cambridge's third child is a boy, he will no longer be allowed to jump ahead of older sister Charlotte in the line of succession. Previously, under the ancient rules of male primogeniture, royal sons took precedence over their female siblings, even leapfrogging firstborn royal daughters. But a radical shake-up of the royal succession rules removed discriminatory male bias and came into force in March 2015, affecting babies born after October 28, 2011. The Succession to the Crown Act 2013 has already impacted the Duke of Gloucester's granddaughters, Senna Lewis and Lila Gilman, whose younger brothers, born in 2012, now follow them in the line of succession. The baby will be a prince or princess thanks to the Queen, who stepped in ahead of Prince George's birth to ensure all William's children would become HRHs with fitting titles. The Queen issued a letters patent under the Great Seal of the Realm in December 2012, when Kate was just a few months pregnant, declaring all the children of the eldest son of the Prince of Wales should have and enjoy the style, title and attribute of Royal Highness with the titular dignity of Prince or Princess prefixed to their Christian names, or with such other titles of honor. A letters patent in 1917, issued by George V, limited titles within the royal family, meaning daughters born to William or Kate would not have been an HRH but lady, forename, Mountbatten Windsor instead, and second or later born sons would also have lacked the HRH title and become lord, forename, Mountbatten Windsors rather than princes. Mary is the favorite name for William and Kate's baby, with Alice, Victoria, and Elizabeth following behind. The dilemma of what to call the latest addition to their family is something the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge will be wrestling with, but Mary is the public's favorite moniker. Punters have been betting that William and Kate will name their baby, which they think will be a girl, Mary, a name which has a long association with the British monarchy. Bookmaker William Hill has made the name their 3-1 favorite, followed by Alice 6-1 and Victoria 8-1, while Coral has Mary and Alice as their joint favorite monikers at 5-1, with Victoria next with odds of 8-1. William's great-great-grandmother, the wife of George V, was called Mary, a woman who the Prince of Wales still speaks of fondly, and Mary is one of the Queen's middle names. Britain has seen 2 Marys on the throne: Mary I, known as Bloody Mary for her persecution of Protestants, and Mary II, who ruled jointly as monarch with her Dutch husband, William III. Rupert Adams, from William Hill, said more than 90% of bets placed had been for female names. The favorite is Mary, but I cannot see it as it is massively overbacked. Alice is good, but personally I am all over Victoria, which makes good sense to me. If William and Kate have a girl, they may be considering naming her Alice, which was the name of the Duke of Edinburgh's mother. Princess Alice of Battenberg was born deaf, but learned to speak and lip-read 4 languages, married Princess Andrew of Greece in 1903, and went on to establish an order of nuns and wore a habit to the Queen's coronation in 1953. Her grandmother was another Princess Alice, the 3rd child and 2nd daughter of Queen Victoria, who lived in Germany after marrying Prince Louis of Hesse. She was said to have had a warm heart and opened hospitals, championed women's causes, founded women's guilds, and patronized women's unions. She died in 1878 when she was 35. For boys' names, William Hill has Albert, Arthur, and Fred, all at odds of 14-1, while Coral has Albert and Arthur at 12-1, and a number of names at 16-1, including Arthur, Fred, and Philip. Traditional christening for royal baby whose father William will one day be head of the Church of England. A traditional christening beckons for the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's 3rd child. With Father William, a future king one day set to be head of the Church of England, the royal baby must be welcomed into the Christian faith. Prince George was baptized when he was 3 months old, while Princess Charlotte was only 9 weeks. Just like George and Charlotte, the new baby will wear a replica of the intricate frilly cream lace and satin robe made for Queen Victoria's eldest daughter in 1841. The original is too delicate to be worn, and a specially made exact copy is now used for royal baptisms. George was christened by the Archbishop of Canterbury, the Most Rev. Justin Welby, at St. James Palace's Chapel Royal in 2013. He was on his best behavior, blowing bubbles beforehand and being quiet and peaceful afterwards. With a guest list of only 23 people, a number of senior royals were missing, including the Princess Royal, the Duke of York and the Earl of Wessex. Those at the private service included the Queen, the Duke of Edinburgh, the Prince of Wales, the Duchess of Cornwall, Prince Harry, the Middletons, plus George's godparents and their spouses, and William's former nanny Jessie Webb, who had been helping to care for George. Charlotte was christened at the Church of St. Mary Magdalene in Sandringham in July 2015. She was wheeled to the service by Kate in a vintage traditional 1950s Milson pram previously used by the Queen for Prince Andrew and Prince Edward. A royal baby's godparents are usually announced on the morning of the christening. Kate and William previously opted for friends over dignitaries. George's 7 godparents include Diana, Princess of Wales' close friend Julia Samuel, William's cousin Zara Tyndall, and Kate's school friend Amelia Jardine Patterson. Charlotte has 5 godparents including William's childhood friend Thomas Van Straubenzee, Kate's confidant Sophie Carter, and Diana's niece the Hon-Laura Fellows. Prince Harry missed Charlotte's christening while in Africa, but this time will be expected to attend with new wife Meghan Markle, whom he marries on May 19. William and Kate's third baby to be born in St. Mary's Hospital's Lindo Wing. The Lindo Wing at St. Mary's Hospital, where the Duchess of Cambridge is due to give birth, is a private facility offering world-class maternity care. Kate's first 2 children, Prince George and Princess Charlotte, were born in the exclusive unit in Paddington, central London, as were their father, the Duke of Cambridge, and uncle, Prince Harry. William made his public debut with the Prince and Princess of Wales outside the hospital, wrapped in a white blanket and carried in Diana's arms, with Charles by her side. Only a handful of midwives and medical staff, led by consultant obstetrician Guy Thorpe-Beeston, were in the delivery room to supervise Charlotte's birth, but waiting in the wings were more than a dozen experts in case of emergencies. Theater staff were on standby along with a lab technician, replacement anesthetists and pediatricians, 23 in total from Imperial College Healthcare NHS Trust, which runs St. Mary's Hospital. In the Lindo Wing, Kate will again be given a bespoke experience akin to a 5-star hotel with en-suite rooms available, providing a modern homely environment in which to start your new or expanded family life, the unit's website states. Deluxe rooms and suites are also available. The latest price list, from July last year to March, states that a standard room package, including a one-night stay, costs from £5,900, while a deluxe package is £6,275 with an extra night priced at more than £1,000 for both options. The price of a suite of 2 rooms, with one used as a living room, is available on application, but 5 years ago it cost £6,265 for a one-night stay. With standard and deluxe care packages rising by around £1,000 since the birth of their first child, William and Kate could spend close to £7,500 for a suite. Each room has a satellite TV with major international channels, radio, bedside phone, fridge, free Wi-Fi and a choice of daily newspapers. All meals are freshly prepared in a dedicated kitchen, and there is even an afternoon tea service for parents to celebrate their new arrival, the website suggests. The Lindo Wing's internationally renowned obstetric unit caters for complex pregnancies and deliveries as well as multiple births, and it has the benefit of being based in an NHS hospital if further complications arise, including its facilities for premature babies in the Winnicott Baby Unit. In 2006, William visited the refurbished NHS neonatal unit at St. Mary's, cradling 2 tiny premature babies, one weighing just 5 pounds. At the forefront of specialist care for premature babies, the Winnicott looks after some of the most critically ill newborns in the UK. It treats around 350 sick and premature babies from across the country each year, caring for up to 18 infants at a time. Diana returned to St. Mary's in April 1997, 4 months before her death in a Paris car crash, when she toured the pediatric intensive care unit, meeting poorly youngsters. Royal baby will be encouraged to forge career, not carry out public duties. The new royal baby will be encouraged to look for a career outside the royal family when he or she grows up, a historian has predicted. Judith Robotham, a visiting research fellow at Plymouth University, said the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's third child is highly unlikely ever to become king or queen. Rather than having a public role, the new prince or princess will, as a young adult, be on the fringes of the royal family, Dr. Robotham suggested. Born fifth in line, the baby will fall behind both older brother and future monarch Prince George and older sister Princess Charlotte in the line of succession. It's fairly secure to say that they are going to be encouraged not to worry too much about the likelihood of succession to the throne, Dr. Robotham said. This gives them considerable freedom. Just look at Prince Harry. While limited by the expectation that somebody close to the throne should not for practical reasons risk their lives in battle, he was still able to be an active soldier. From that point of view, I think they're going to be very much encouraged to look outside the royal family for their opportunities, to go into media or business, or become teachers or academics, whatever their personal inclination. The historian said the Prince of Wales was focused on the direct line of succession, rather than the wider royal family. Prince William knows that his father's agenda is to ensure that the present royal family doesn't get too big, doesn't become something that's seen as unwieldy or a burden on the state and the taxpayer. She added, "I don't think there's going to be any expectation that this particular child, once he or she becomes a young adult, will do more than turn up occasionally on the fringes of the royal family in order to celebrate things with their father or their older brother." Those not destined to wear the crown have often been encouraged to pursue different paths. Second-born King George V only became heir to the throne when his older brother Albert, Duke of Clarence, died of flu in 1892. Prior to this, he was a career naval officer and was firmly told to focus on this life rather than being a prince. He was only seen as a minor royal. It is rare for a third-born royal child to end up as monarch, and there has been no instance so far in the House of Windsor. William IV, a Hanoverian king who ruled from 1830 to 1837, was a third child of George III and Queen Charlotte. He was known as the Sailor King for his love of the sea and as Silly Billy for his rambling speeches. Edward VI was a third child of Henry VIII. His mother was Jane Seymour. He became king aged 9 in 1547 until his death in 1553 from tuberculosis at the age of 15. The arrival of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's third child will be marked with a traditional bulletin on show at Buckingham Palace. Just as when Prince George and Princess Charlotte were born, The new royal baby's birth will be celebrated with the age-old custom of placing a paper proclamation for the public to see at the Queen's London residence. A brief formal announcement on foolscap-sized paper set in a dark wooden frame will be placed on an ornate golden easel on the forecourt of the palace. It confirms the sex of the baby and the time of birth, but gives little else away, other than usually revealing that the baby has been safely delivered and mother and child are doing well. It used to be handwritten, but is now typed. It will also be signed at the hospital by the doctors who tended to the Duchess and then ferried back to the palace by car. Just like with George and Charlotte, an initial official announcement will be emailed to the press by Kensington Palace, coinciding with the confirmation of the birth via Twitter. News of a new prince or princess is unlikely to be announced overnight, as the Queen and members of both families will have to be informed first. The names given to royal babies are not usually revealed straight away, and the public is often left guessing for several days. William and Kate took 2 days to announce both George and Charlotte's names, informing the Queen of their choice beforehand. Mike and Zara Tindall used Twitter to unveil their daughter's name 6 days after she was born in 2014, with proud dad Mike tweeting, "For everyone who has asked what our daughter's name is, it's Mia Grace Tindall." When Princess Beatrice was born in 1988, it was 2 weeks before her name was known. In 1982, the Prince and Princess of Wales waited 7 days before deciding upon and announcing Prince William's name. The Prince of Wales' name, however, remained a mystery for an entire month and was only declared ahead of his christening in the music room of Buckingham Palace in December 1948. The birth will be celebrated with a 41-gun salute in Green Park or Hyde Park and a 62-gun salute at the Tower of London. Royal births are registered in the normal way, although the Home Secretary is required to notify certain officials, including the Lord Mayor of London, the governors of Northern Ireland, the Channel Islands and the Isle of Man. The Queen's top aide, her private secretary Edward Young, informs Governor-Generals overseas, while announcements are also made on the monarchy's website and Facebook page. Third-time mothers like Kate may need to be watchful in final stages of pregnancy. As a busy mother of 2, the Duchess of Cambridge has been advised to keep a watchful eye on her baby's movements in the last few weeks of her pregnancy. Claire Livingston, professional policy advisor at the Royal College of Midwives, said third-time mothers like Kate, who can be distracted as they care for older children, need to be aware of any changes in the run-up to delivery. Mrs. Livingston, who was a midwife for 9 years, said, "Third-time mums are more relaxed. They're busier than before, especially when they're looking after toddlers. They're probably more tired, so it's the importance of rest, nutrition, hydration, monitoring baby's movements and reporting any noticeable difference with that." She advised Kate and other women expecting their third to be very aware. When they're preoccupied with a busy family. They may not be as aware as they have been with first pregnancies when you're very watchful. When the Duchess gave birth for a second time, she delivered Princess Charlotte just 2 hours and 34 minutes after being admitted to hospital. Her third labor will be expected to be as fast, if not faster. Mrs. Livingston said, "It will vary from one woman to another." Some women report a quicker labor with their third baby, but not everyone. It seems to be, though, that they do go more quickly. It's a very individual thing. In 2013, Kate went into hospital at around 6 a.m. on the day George was born, and he arrived 10.5 hours later at 4. .24 p.m. It is not known how long the Duchess was in labor with George and Charlotte before she was admitted. Subsequent labors tend to be much faster, with active labor lasting, on average, 5 hours, according to parenting site Baby Center. Co.uk. Livingston added that quick labors can appear more painful. I would say that very rapid labor can feel more painful because of the intensity and how quickly it can feel quite overwhelming, she said. The body has natural painkillers, endorphins, which build up over a period of time. So a quick labor doesn't allow the body the opportunity to do that. Advice site Metaforms. Com said 2% of women experience a precipitate labor, where labor is extremely rapid and lasts less than 2 hours from first contraction to giving birth. They're more common among women who have already given birth at least once, the site said. If you've already given birth, your cervix has been stretched, so the uterus may simply know what it's doing and work a bit too efficiently. It adds, if labor starts, and there's any doubt whether you'll make it to hospital in time, don't even try. If this were to happen to the Duchess, her medical team would decamp to Kensington Palace to assist with the birth. She could even have a consultant or midwife on standby at the palace ready to help if she wanted to be prepared for all eventualities. Mrs. Livingston said, "Some women have what are known as precipitate labors. They can be extremely fast. It tends to be the case that if you've had one before, you're more likely to have another one." Kate had a straightforward, natural birth with George and Charlotte with no complications. As well as having a hospital bag packed with nappies and baby grows, the Duchess will be making preparations for appearing in front of the world's media when she takes her baby home. Her hairdresser Amanda Cook-Turner will be on call ready to come to St. Mary's, as will Kate's stylist Natasha Archer, armed with Kate's carefully selected outfit. Close friends are likely for the royal baby godparent role. The newest Cambridge baby's godparents will be announced just before the christening. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have previously opted for close friends and valued family members for the spiritual role. They will choose confidants rather than following the Windsor tradition of selecting older royal relatives. It is likely that the baby will have 5 godparents, as does Charlotte, whereas George, a future king, has 7. George's 7 godparents included Julia Samuel, a close friend of Diana, Princess of Wales, the couple's former private secretary Jamie Lothar Pinkerton, and William's cousin Zara Tyndall, while Charlotte's 5 included Kate's school friend Sophie Carter and Laura Fellows, the daughter of one of Diana's sisters. Here's a look at some of the possible contenders. William and Kate may ask another of the Van Cutsem brothers, who are old family friends of the Duke. They selected William Van Cutsem for George and may pick one of his siblings, Hugh, Edward, or Nicholas, or perhaps Hugh's wife Rose Van Cutsem this time. The Duke of Cambridge is godfather to Hugh and Rose's daughter Grace, who was a bridesmaid at the royal wedding and almost stole the show on the balcony after covering her ears during the fly past. Others in the couple's social circle include jockey Sam Wally Cohen and his wife Bella, William's school friend Tom Sutton and his wife Harriet, heir to Viscount Allendale, Wentworth Wenty Beaumont and his wife Vanessa, Lady Iona Hewitt, and Lady Natasha Rufus Isaacs, an old friend of Kate's who runs the fashion label Beulah London. William and Kate's former uni flatmates are Fergus Boyd and Olivia Bleasdale, who also attended their 2011 wedding. From the royal side, William's cousin Peter Phillips could be a safe bet. Other suggestions include the Duke's former nanny Tiggy Pettifer, William, and Kate's former personal assistant Helena Spray, Sir David Manning, the former ambassador to Washington who now acts as the couple's foreign affairs advisor, or perhaps even one of Diana's sisters, Lady Sarah McCorquodale and Lady Jane Fellows, or another of William's cousins via the Spencer family line. If William and Kate wanted to fully welcome Harry's bride-to-be Meghan Markle into the fold, what better gesture than to make her their new baby's godmother? The move would delight Harry and secure Ms. Markle's long-term position as a member of the royal family. Ms. Markle would be on hand at William and Kate's home Kensington Palace for godmotherly duties, living at a cottage with Harry at the royal residence. But have the couple known the American actress for long enough to assign her with the responsibility? William's former top 8 and ex-press secretary Miguel Head is also a possibility. He has been a trusted member of the KP team and is leaving his post as private secretary in July, but a warm tribute was issued when his departure was announced. William was described as feeling incredibly lucky to have benefited from Miguel's advice and support over the last decade. Mr. Head was described as a valued advisor during an important period in His Royal Highness's life. William was just 16 when he became godfather to Prince Constantine Alexios of Greece and Denmark in 1998. The Duke's cousin Lady Louise Mountbatten Windsor, daughter of the Earl and Countess of Wessex, is only 14 years old, but selecting Louise as a godparent would delight the Queen. The youngster was one of William and Kate's bridesmaids. A home in a palace, a private education and a focus on mental well-being. Growing up as part of the Cambridge family, the new royal baby will be one of the most famous youngsters in the world. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, however, worked hard to make sure their children have as much of a normal life as possible. The baby's milestones: leaving hospital after being born, their christening and their first public engagement will be covered in minute detail by the media. William and Kate will release photos of their third born at key moments to encourage the press to avoid using paparazzi shots instead. But for the most part, the baby's early years will be spent happily away from the cameras. So what will the royal baby's childhood be like? The baby's main home in London is Kensington Palace's apartment 1A, which used to belong to Princess Margaret. It was refurbished at a cost of £4.5 million to the taxpayer, and with a big, private walled garden, there is plenty of space to play outside, as well as some 20 rooms to explore. The baby's nursery may well feature some IKEA furniture. William and Kate revealed they turned to the popular Swedish firm for George and Charlotte's rooms. William and Kate also have a 10-bedroom Georgian Grade II listed house Anmer Hall on the Queen's Sandringham estate in Norfolk. It has its own private swimming pool, a full-size, artificial grass tennis court and vast grounds. Christmases will partly be at Sandringham House in Norfolk with the Royals, at Anmer Hall, or with the Middletons in Berkshire, and trips to Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle will expose the youngster to opulent surroundings. At the age of 2, the third Cambridge child will start nursery. Charlotte attends Wilcox Nursery School, a short distance from Kensington Palace, which charges fees of just over £3,000 a term. Kate, a keen amateur photographer, will take snaps of her youngest child on their first day to release for the public to see. The school has been described in reports as having a loyal following of Old English families and chic foreigners, and is something of a hidden gem in the shadow of the Royal Albert Hall. This new royal baby will probably follow George to his private school Thomas's Battersea, which Charlotte is expected to attend as well. Fees at the South London school cost more than £17,600 a year. The school's most important rule is, be kind, and it expects its pupils not just to tolerate, but to celebrate difference, including faith, beliefs and culture. William boarded at Eton, while Kate was a part-time boarder at Marlborough College, but it is not yet known whether their children will go to boarding school. Kate supports a range of mental health charities and will be tuned in to looking after her children's mental health. She has opened up about how she wants to raise her children, saying qualities such as kindness were just as important as academic or sporting success. The Duchess said, "My parents taught me about the importance of qualities like kindness, respect and honesty, and I realize how central values like these have been to me throughout my life." William too has spoken about the importance of talking about mental health. Everybody has mental health and we shouldn't be ashamed of it, and just having a conversation with a friend or family member can really make such a difference, the Duke said. There will always be a nanny on the scene, as is customary for royal children. George and Charlotte's full-time live-in nanny is Spanish-born Maria Teresa Turian Burrallo, who trained at the prestigious Norland College. Help from housekeepers and aides will also be the norm. Royal protection officers will always be close by, but hands-on parents, the Duke and Duchess, will strive to make up for the lack of freedom that royal childhoods can sometimes provide. William and Kate's children have already made appearances on the Buckingham Palace balcony for the annual parade marking the Queen's official birthday. Royal youngsters also get to witness historic occasions firsthand, such as royal weddings and even coronations. But the new baby will still be tiny by the time of Harry and Meghan's wedding and will be expected to stay at home with the nanny. The family has a black cocker spaniel called Lupo and Charlotte has a hamster called Marvin. The baby will also have to get used to the Queen's beloved Corgis and Dorgis, a cross between a Corgi and a Dachshund. William and Kate are both keen skiers and took George and Charlotte on their first skiing holiday to the French Alps in 2016. The Middletons have enjoyed frequent breaks on the Caribbean island of Mustique, and part of the summer holidays will be spent with the Windsors at Balmoral in the Scottish Highlands with grandfather the Prince of Wales and great-grandmother the Queen. Royal children greet the Queen with a kiss on both cheeks and a bow or a curtsy. Prince Harry is already a doting uncle to George, and now new aunt-to-be Meghan Markle is on the scene as well. The Middletons will also play an important part in the baby's life. Kate is particularly close to her family, Mother Carol, Father Michael, Sister Pippa and Brother James.